music like this.
Because you know I'm all about that bass, no chill.
And this. This is Shock Hits with Chloe Yates on Shock Radio.
Hello, it is Shock Hits on Shock Radio, and of course, absolute tune, Thinking Out Loud with Ed Sheeran. And did you know he actually decided to have dance lessons to do that music video? So just for that video, God bless him, he got dance lessons just to look as amazing as he already does now. The time right now is 10 minutes past 4. My name is Chloe Yates, and I'll be with you until 6 o'clock. What a week we've had. It's weeks away until Christmas, and you can pretty much practically smell the mince pies and the turkey gravy. Honestly, you can tell I'm a little bit northern. Right, my lovely, we've got tunes on the way from Katy Perry, but first, let's keep it going. It's Out of My Head with John Newman. Shock Hits, Out of My Head, of course, with John Newman.
Shock Hits with Chloe Yates on Shock Radio.
It is Wednesday afternoon, hello. Shock Radio, only the best hits for you this Wednesday afternoon. Thank you to everyone who got in touch last week. Now, if you want to do the same, it is @ Shock Hits Live, or it is facebook.com/Shock Hits. Let us know what you're up to. Now, I've had an amazing week. I went up to London. It was, of course, with the rest of the Shock Radio team to go to the Student Radio Awards. What a night, I can tell you right now. We all stayed in London, went in a snazzy hotel. Oh, it was very fabulous. We even got free Prosecco. So what I did is I stayed with a friend for the whole weekend, and I did my sightseeing, all right. It was absolutely fantastic. Now, I was your typical tourist wearing an I Love London t-shirt. I had a tour around London on the big red bus. I walked around Hyde Park, which, it's not that romantic really, is it, Hyde Park? It's just a massive field, really. It was absolutely fabulous. And I had a little walk around, but I had massive heels on, so I didn't see that much, really, to be honest. I then had a selfie with Big Ben. And, of course, I got lost on the tube. And I pretty much, I got quite lost, if I'm actually honest. And I couldn't really stop anyone for directions. That's what actually made me laugh about London, is if that was in Manchester, if I stopped anyone, they'd stop straight away. They'd be like, oh, yeah, you can go this way. Or they'd get the Google Maps up, or they'd draw out a map on the back of a hanky-tee. Not in London. I was literally trying to stop people for a good 20 minutes until I just gave up, honestly. I had a particularly amazing time in Camden Market and bought a very snazzy pair of gloves. And I also went to see Once the Musical in the West End. And it was absolutely amazing. What happened is we got tickets to go and see the musical. And basically what happened is when we sat down for the musical, apparently the seats were actually double booked. So what did they do? Of course they upgraded us to premium. It is nasty, Pixie Lot. I am Chloe Yates. It is Shock Hits time right now. It's 20 past 4. We have news at 5 o'clock. Nasty, Pixie Log. It is Shock Hits. Let's keep it going. It's Raw with Katy Perry.
I used to bite my tongue and
Shock Hits plays music like this.
I don't care. And it feels so good to say I swear that I don't care.
And this.
Gonna be so strong. There's a power in what you do now every other day.
This is Shock Hits with Chloe Yates.
It is Shock Radio, and you just heard Katy Perry with Raw. And it was, of course, let me just add, the award-winning Shock Radio station. Now, the reason why I'm saying award-winning is because we actually won Best Marketing and Sound at the Student Radio Awards. It was such a good night. Now, we are all, of course, very, 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 very proud. So don't get too fed up about us all going on about it, because we're not going to stop, guys. I hope you all had an amazing day so far. We've got gossip on Amma Celeb's lineup. We've got gossip on how Amy Childs thought Ebola was a band. We're talking about how Kieran Hayler changed his mind again on marrying Katie Price for the second time. And we're talking why Louis Tomlinson from, of course, One Direction loses his temper over gay support claims on Twitter. We're talking about Ben Haynow and Lola Saunders and whether they're on or off, pretty much. Calvin Harris, and of course the MTV EMAs, and so much more. But before we get into all that, absolute tune. This reminds me of my summer. Bring it back, please. I Got You. Duke Dumont. It is Shock Radio. It is Shock Radio. I Got You with Duke Dumont.
The biggest hits, the best music. Shock Hits with Chloe Yates on Shock Radio.
Hello, Bethel. Thank you ever so much for your company. Keep the tweets coming in, by the way. It is at tag Shock Hits Live. We've got a few tweets, but don't fret. I'll get back to you in just a mo. Now, have you heard, by the way, about all the goss on I'm a Celeb? There's been loads of rumours being going into overdrive. Now, when it comes to who is going to be in the jungle next, we've had so many people saying God knows how many names. But finally, the lineup has been announced. Now we have the likes of Towie's Gemma Collins, who apparently has fears of every single creepy crawly existing. Hang on, you're going into the jungle. What are you doing? We've got the gorgeous Melanie Sykes, and she's revealed that she is not going to be the mummy of the camp, so maybe she's going to be a bit rebellious. Maybe it might be a little bit more exciting. I've got Tinchy Strider, he's another one. He said his main aim is not to say anything in the camp that will jinx himself. The thing is, Tinchy, it's not about the fate, is it? It's more about us lot at home, and if we kind of vote for you to do the most horrendous tasks, or it's probably the producers that kind of choose your fate for you, really. Either way, if I had the challenge in my hand, I'd go home. I wouldn't be able to do it. Honestly, we don't know what themselves have got themselves in for. Anyway, we're talking I'm a Celeb. Give us a tweet. Let us know what you think about the new lineup. It is at tag Shock Hits Live, or it's facebook.com/Shock Hits. We've got tunes from Mark Ronson coming up. But first, let's have a little bit of the Saturdays.
I miss missing you.
Tweet us now at Shock Hits Live. Shock Hits with Chloe Yates.
Stop me if you think that you heard this one before. Stop. I really love you. No, you just keep me hanging on.
Mark Ronson with Stop Me on Shock Hits. Hello, we've got gossip on how on earth Amy Childs thought Ebola was a band coming up next. But first, let's have a little bit of LaRue. It's called Uptight Downtown. It's actually about the London riots back in 2011. Really good track coming up next. We've got tunes from 10 Wolves. It is Shock Radio. 10 Walls, Walking with Elephants on Shock Hits. It is 4:45. We've got news at 5 o'clock. Now, I don't know whether you've heard about the latest shenanigans, let's just say, with Amy Childs, but it's been said that she honestly thought Ebola was a band. Now, we can all imagine Amy's lifestyle, and if she's getting pampered around I don't know, what does she go to, spas? Does she go to hair salons? I don't know. You can picture anyway, surrounded by her back-home poodles, covered in vajazzles. Now, it's just not like how we'd expect her, really, to keep up to date with the breaking news. That is one point. But she really, really did prove us all kind of right, really, in the fact that she just lives under a rock all her life. Now, obviously Ebola, it's the horrid virus, of course, which causes rashes, vomiting and bleeding, and it's really, really horrendous. But basically what happened is Amy was at the Mobo Awards and she got quizzed by a Mobo presenter. And all he asked was basically, what do you think about... he said, do you think we've done enough to curb the spread of Ebola? And what did Amy reply? She simply replied with, what? She replied, yeah, like I might be a big fan of Ebola after tonight, or they're going to be absolutely amazing. Okay, that was my attempt to do a Towie accent. I've got a clip to prove it. Have a listen to this.
Have we done enough to curb the spread of Ebola?
What? Wait, I might be a big fan after tonight.
You know Ebola's going to be huge, don't you?
Oh, they're going to be absolutely amazing.
Can you see why I have such a hatred for Towie? I can't even describe it. I think I'm going to cry. I think I'm just going to stick this tune on before I actually have a breakdown. It is Shock Radio. Bit of Nicole Scherzinger on the rocks. Coming up, we've got MGMT and Nelly Furtado. And at 5 o'clock, of course, we have the news.
Shock Hits plays music like this.
Blame it on the night. Don't blame it on me. Don't blame it on me.
And this. This is Shock Hits with Chloe Yates on Shock Radio.
To pretend MGMT, absolute tune. It is Shock Radio. Let's keep it going. It's Nelly Furtado, Say It Right. The time right now is 5 to 5. We've got news in just a couple of minutes. Don't you dare go anywhere.
To Shock News.
That was Nelly Furtado with Say It Right. Let's have the news with Rachel and Alex.
Breaking news. Europe's first attempt to put a robot on the surface of the comet 67P successfully landed about an hour ago at 6 minutes past 4. Rosetta satellite released its lander towards the comet this morning. Its mission? To transmit data and send images from the surface of the comet, which is a large mass of dust and ice 510 million kilometres from the Earth.
19-year-old Sam Rimmer is due in court today after being charged with sexually assaulting and attempting to rape an elderly pensioner. Police were called to an address in Earlham early on Sunday morning. The woman, who is in her 80s, has been supported by specially trained officers since the attack.
UK unemployment has fallen by 115,000 to just under 2 million. Good news if you're a student looking for part-time work. Officials say they had expected the number of people without jobs to have fallen a lot more than this between July and September.
Residents in Manchester Student Village set fire to their kitchen after a chip pan was apparently forgotten about. Thousands of students were evacuated as the fire broke out in a shared kitchen. Firefighters managed to extinguish the fire, however the flat sustained a lot of damage. Nobody was injured, and the students have been advised to make sure they have working fire alarms.
A student who had been on an all-day drinking binge climbed onto the roof of a train at Manchester Piccadilly Station in an attempt to catch a lift home. Philip Withers' drunken prank caused delays of 3 trains for nearly an hour, which led to Network Rail incurring charges of nearly £13,000.
A clubber who fled after assaulting a policeman has been handed in by his parents. Dean Thomas was detained after being thrown out of a club in Manchester last weekend. After getting a taxi home, his parents immediately sent him to Longside Police Station to turn himself in, still wearing the handcuffs police had placed on him earlier in the evening.
The Salford Institute for Dementia is holding an inspiring event tomorrow evening at the university. The event is created for people to learn and share about the experience of living with dementia. The evening will start with a short and powerful drama called Lost and Found, written and performed by 2 graduates from the University of Salford. This will be followed by a debate with Hazel Blair's MP, Dr. John Zeisel from the USA, and Joe Watson, a dementia activist.
Ceramic poppies currently being removed by volunteers are to be permanently based at Imperial War Museums in Salford and London. Each poppy represents the death of 880,246 British and Commonwealth soldiers who fought during World War I. An estimated 17,500 volunteers planted the poppies, while a team of 8,000 volunteers will dismantle them.
In sport now, TV presenter Charlie Webster has resigned as a patron of the football club Sheffield United. This comes after convicted sexual offender Ched Evans was allowed to train back at the club. Despite over 150,000 petitions about Evans' return and the FA claiming it to be a dilemma, Mr. Webster says that the club has at no point acknowledged the seriousness of the crime.
Manchester United forward Wayne Rooney is set to become both his country's greatest goalscorer and most capped player, ahead of his 100th England appearance. The 29-year-old football captain is set to reach his century in Saturday's match against Slovenia, and will also hope to add his tally of 43 England goals.
Controversial internet hit Dappy Laughs, whose real name is Daniel O'Reilly, has pulled the plug on his character after a backlash from inappropriate jokes he made. Daniel spoke on Newsnight yesterday to defend his position and said the incident had a huge impact on him. His appearance comes after the cancellation of his UK tour plus the acting of his ITV show On the Pull. He said it was wrong that his comedy might have influenced sexual violence.
Spotify's chief executive has defended its business model, claiming it's paid out over $2 billion to the music industry to date. Daniel Ek's statements are a response to a move by pop star Taylor Swift to pull her entire back catalogue from the music streaming service. Swift's new album 1989 reached the top spot on the Pirate Bay last week.
The time is 3 minutes past 5. Shock News will be back at 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. Join us then if you can for the latest news. It's time to hand you back to Chloe Yates.
Live on Shock Radio.
Beautiful, Rachel and Alex.
Yeah.
Alex, you look a little bit of a flap today. You okay, my love?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Did you have your Weetabix this morning?
No.
See, that's where you've gone wrong, honestly. If I don't have any breakfast or anything, I'm in an absolute state.
And I think the problem was I've not been very well recently.
No. Oh, bless you.
I'm a little bit ill.
Well, it's the thing. I mean, look at me. I look like I'm in an M&S advert for winter. Look at this. Absolutely covered in knitwear. What's going on?
Too many curries, I think.
Right, so this is the part of the show where I play you guys 3 songs and we want you to decide which song we should play. So, Alex, what have we got?
So the tracks we have in today's top 3: Mr. Probs featuring Professor Green, Little Secrets. This isn't that one though. They're all in the wrong order, I think.
Oh well.
Gosh, this is a long mix, isn't it?
I absolutely adore this one.
I love it. Absolutely love
Who's
George.
this?
Who's this, Rachel? Who's
George
this?
Ezra.
There we go. So we put her on a spot last week, didn't we? We just go, who's this? Who's this?
She was a bit freaked out.
She needs to know.
I had no idea what was happening.
I love this one.
It's new and it's called Listen to the Man.
We care for what they're selling us anyway. We're so younger.
We're all waving in the studio. We're not waving actually.
If you do want to tweet in, it is at tag Shock Hits Live. Let us know which track you would like to hear. The final one, when it does eventually play.
It's a very long mix. I'm just enjoying this in a minute.
The final one is Mr. Probs, Professor Green, called Little Secrets.
Did I ask too
Good tracks, I think. It's a strong 3 today. Although one of them isn't actually that new. One of them was released in January.
Was it? Oh.
And it's not accumulated that many hits, to be honest. It was on YouTube. I found it on YouTube. 900,000 views. That was it.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't think that was that many.
It's not that many. Think about songs in the charts these days.
Everyone knows.
I like to sing along to this one.
So, with the choices, Mr. Probs featuring Professor Green, Little Secrets, George Ezra, Listen to the Man, or Carl Pritt with Remember to Forget. I know which one I like, but I've looked on Twitter and we've got Eva who's tweeted in. She says, great show, thank you very much, Eva. And we've also got Ben who tweeted in, and he said the second one, but he didn't know the name. That is actually George Ezra, my love.
That's actually George Ezra, yeah.
I agree with Ben.
The first one was Carl Pritt, this one's Carl Pritt, Remember to Forget.
Yeah.
It's quite dancey. Rachel.
Yes.
Who do you think?
What do you think? I think
possibly George Ezra.
Yeah, I love a bit of George.
Should we stick a bit of George Ezra on?
Yeah.
Should we stick a bit of George Ezra
Stick it on.
I feel your head resting heavy on your single.
It is Shock Hits. Let's have a bit of Amelia Lilly with You Bring Me Joy. The time right now is 10 minutes past 5. We've got tunes from George Ezra again and the Ting Tings coming up next.
I've been thinking about all the things.
Amelia Lilly, You Bring Me Joy on Shock Hits. I am Chloe Yates. Hello.
Shock Hits.
Let's crack on. R. Kelly and George Ezra on the way. Plus, we've got Showbiz Select coming up, where we give you the juiciest gossip in the world of showbiz. Let's crack on. Bit of Ting Tings, that's not my name. It's Shock Hits. Hello.
Four-letter word just to get me. Call me right, but I'm like, maybe Jordy's always the same. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name. That's not my name.
Ting Tings, that's not my name.
Shock Hits.
Let's crack on. It's time for Showbiz Select.
This is Shock Hits with Chloe Yates. Showbiz Select.
Oh, it's all been happening this week. Right, we're talking about Kim Kardashian. Now, on the front cover of the US paper magazine, Kim flashes her full derriere out on show to the whole world. Now, she doesn't care, does she? Without a care in the world, there is a photo where she's balancing a glass of champagne on her most famous asset. I wish I could do that, flip a neck. She's seen covered in oil for the shoot, which was, of course, taken from behind. And she is wearing nothing but black opera gloves and several string chokers. But within minutes of the release, she got exactly the reaction she probably wanted. Not all positive, of course. Now, within hours of the image that got posted, people, of course, got involved by using the lovely software called Photoshop. There's a hilarious photo. What happened is people were posting photos back of Kim Kardashian's derriere rather than her lovely bum sticking out. People were photoshopping her bum being attached to the backside of a horse. There's another one of people photoshopping her bum being two donuts squished together. One of my best mates, Ro, hi Ro, she made a photo herself. I think she's a bit too much spare time on her hands. Now it seems that all this parody of Kim Kardashian's bottom is going a little bit more mad than I thought. If you do want to have a look at this photo, by the way, I'm going to stick it on just after this next track. It is Shock Hits Live on Twitter or facebook.com/Shock Hits. If you do want to see the pics, have a look on there. Now, moving on to Miss Emma Stone. Now, she did rock the opening night of the Broadway revival production called Cabaret at Studio 54 in New York City. Wow, that is a massive one. Now, she did, of course, have a tough act to follow, taking over the female lead from Michelle Williams, but it doesn't matter because I think she's absolutely ace. Now, what happened is Leeds Hill, who plays Bobby, who is one of the Kit Kat boys, which is in the production, did tweet Emma Stone saying, "Brilliant Broadway debut night, thrilled to have you join our family, here's to a great run." Oh, bless him. Now, cabaret stars also include Alan Cumming, who is reviving his Tony Award-winning performance at the MC. Do check it out. It's Shock Hits Live on Twitter or Facebook.com/Shock Hits. See the picture of Emma Stone when she receives a massive bouquet of flowers with a gigantic ribbon. Right, we've got gossip on Kieran Hayler and how he changed his mind again for marrying Katie Price. And let's just remind everybody, it was for the second time, so do stay in tune for that. Right now, though, we're going a little bit George Ezra mad. Of course, I'm going to play another track of George Ezra. It's Blame It On Me. I'm Chloe Yates. It's Shock Radio.
Garden was blessed by the gods of me and you. What you waiting for? No, what you waiting for?
Bump and Grind remix with Waze. It is Shock Hits.
Shock Hits.
Right, let's not hang about, guys. Let's get all the gossip on Mr. Kieran Hayler.
Feel the sky falling down.
It is Tiesto, Light Years Away.
Left on the ground.
Facebook.com/Shock Hits. Kieran Hayler and how he's not going to marry Katie Price. Well, we think he's not. On its way. Tiesto, Light Years Away.
Shock Hits.
Right, let's not hang about. We're going to find out about Kieran and how he really is trying to avoid as much as possible getting with Katie Price.
The biggest hits, the best music. Shock Hits with Chloe Yates on Shock Radio.
Now, it's been said that Katie Price and Kieran Hayler have been planning to renew their vows before the end of this year. The thing is, it's been going on for absolutely months now. Now, he did cheat. I don't know whether you did know, but Kieran Hayler did actually cheat on Katie Price. Not with any two birds, but actually with two of Katie Price's friends. Oh, it's so lovely in the celebrity world, isn't it? Now, Kieran Hayler said he's really not going to go through with this, the vow, wedding, whatever you want to call it. And the reason why is Katie Price has plans to invite her frenemies called Jane and Chrissy. Do you want to know why? Because those are the two girls that he cheated on with. Honestly, come to the right place. I know all the gossip here, my lovely. Now, if you're not familiar, those are the women. They are the women that he got with and cheated on Katie with. But not only does Katie want these two women at her vows, but she also wants them as bridesmaids. What is she trying to do? Now, apparently Kieran has threatened to pull out of the plans altogether. However, Katie is planning on using the wedding to launch her new reality TV show as a special episode. Is it just me, or do you think she's kind of using this wedding to sort of publicise her new television show? Mate, I'd probably get out as quick as you can if I were you, Kieran. Now, I've actually found a picture of Katie Price before she had all of her surgery, and she was just at the age of 16, and she is absolutely gorgeous. I don't know why she had all this surgery, but this photo, she's got curly hair and she's got fabulous skin and she looks amazing. Do check it out. It is on Shock Hits Live on Twitter, or it's facebook.com/Shock Hits. Let's not hang about. We're going to have tunes from Tiesto, Freaks, Kesha, Rudimental coming up. But first, what should we have next, guys? Well, let's have... It's called Freaks. It is by The Creeps. It is Shock Radio. My name is Chloe Yates. The time right now is 25 to 6. It is Shock Radio. Kesha with Crazy Kids. 20 to 6.
Hello, wherever you are.
Kesha with Crazy Kids. And before we had The Creeps with Freaks.
Shock Hits.
It is time for my brand new feature, my lovelies.
Hashtag Shock Hits with Chloe Yates on Shock Radio.
It is hashtag indeed. It is where we find out all what's been happening on Twitter, where people get a little bit more on the angry side. Now, this week, we're focusing on Mr. Louis Tomlinson, off One Direction, of course. Now, it's been seen on Twitter that he has been lashing out very angrily towards a reporter on Twitter. Now, this was after an article claimed he was supporting the gay Apple CEO, Mr. Tim Cook. Now, what happened was Lou was papped wearing a T-shirt with simply a rainbow apple icon. Now, a reporter suggested that this showed his support for the Apple leader who came out as a homosexual just recently, which is fine. Now, even if the T-shirt wasn't intended to support Tim Cook, he still went mad. Now, what he did is he got very angry on Twitter, saying that the piece claimed he was gay. I think someone needs to relax. Do you know what I mean? Now, what happened is Louis tweeted the reporter saying the fact that you work for such a credible paper and you would talk such rubbish is laughable. And he had on the end of the tweet, I am in fact straight. He then went on, guys. He went on. He followed the tweet by forward tweeting to the reporter this very quote: Google original Apple logo and you will see the one printed on my T-shirt that you reported on. Trying to look for a promotion, question mark? Ouch. We'll have more on hashtag next week. Maybe ones that aren't as stressy. Well, let's keep it going. We've got tunes from Lorde on its way, but right now I'm going to play you some Rudimental with Feel the Love.
Shock Hits plays music like this.
I don't exist if I don't have earth. The sun doesn't shine, the world doesn't turn, alright.
And this. This is Shock Hits with Chloe Yates.
Rudimental with Feel the Love on Shock Hits. Cheers, guys, for joining us. I've had quite a few tweets on my Twitter page. One from Enrique. I can't pronounce his second name. He's Spanish. And he just said, listening to Shock Hits live from Barcelona, I'd like to hear Within the Rose and Matthew and the Atlas. Not a really known band in Spain. Thank you, Enrique, for your tweet. I've also had another tweet off Thomas Foster, who says, George Ezra, I love a bit of George. Thank you guys for tweeting in. If you want to do just what they did, it is @ Shock Hits Live. My name is Chloe Yates. Thank you so much for joining me. If you've just tuned in, you have missed a heap. We've talked about I'm a Celeb's lineup, how Amy Childs thought Ebola was a band. I'm just going to leave it there because I'm going to get stressed out about talking about it. We talked about, Kieran Hayler and how he changed his mind again on marrying Katie Price for the second time. And we've also talked about Louis Tomlinson in our brand new feature called Hashtag and how he lost his temper over gay support claims on Twitter. Don't fret though, because it will be uploaded straight onto Shock Radio's Mixcloud just after 6 o'clock, plus a trimmed down version will be uploaded onto the Shock Hits YouTube page. We just type in Shock Hits on YouTube and there my mug will be right there. Keep the tweets coming in. I'm going to play some Emily Sandé and Coldplay, but for now, bit of Lorde. It's Team on Shock Radio.
Not yet lost all our graces. The hounds will stay in chains. Look upon your greatness as you stand.
New music first. Shock Hits with Chloe Yates on Shock Radio.
That was Lorde with Team on Shock Hits. We've got gossip on why EastEnders star Lorna Fitzgerald dumped her porn star boyfriend. Got all the gossip here, I know. But first, let's stick on a bit of Emily Sandé. Absolute tune right here. It is Heaven. Whatever you're listening on, turn that volume up, would you? Emily Sandé with Heaven on Shock Hits.
The biggest hits, the best music. Shock Hits with Chloe Yates on Shock Radio.
Now we're talking about Lorna Fitzgerald. If you're not familiar with her, by the way, she is a star on EastEnders, of course. Bless her heart, she's absolutely gorgeous. She's 18 years old. And she fell in love for the past half year. But we all know what happens with our first love, don't we? It doesn't go right. And honestly, I had all the love for Lorna Fitzgerald. But it went down the pan. Now, what happened is she's finally dumped her boyfriend, but apparently the reason why she's dumped him is because he was caught starring in quite a few pornographic films. Now, Lorna has been dating her boyfriend Keir Reid for half a year, but for the whole time, he'd been making more than 20 X-rated films, all under a fake name. Do you know what? My nan says, where's the romance these days? I tell you now, she couldn't be more right. Oh, Lord. Now, apparently, Q and Lorna, they were together, it was both of their first relationships, so you can really, really feel for them. But Lorna, we're all here for you. And the fact that she had the guts to phone him and announce a split, I think she's just a gem, honestly. Let's crack on. Do keep your tweets coming in. We've had a couple more. It is @ Shock Hits Live, or it is facebook.com/Shock Hits. Let's keep the tunes going. This one is one of my absolute favourites. Coldplay with True Love on Shock Radio.
For a second I was in control. I had it once, I lost